Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We're looking at the Wednesday 9-game main slate. James, we're a day or so away now at the time of recording from the NBA trade deadline. So those of you who are tuning in here, please take note that things we talk about on this show right now may be different by the time we go live at 5 p.m. Eastern time with all of the rumors swirling around the NBA, including some big name players that could be on the move. So make sure you're in our Discord. Make sure you got your notifications turned on throughout the day to get yourself ready while you're preparing for this 9-game slate, because you may see some players no longer available when it comes to roster lock. Grande, my friend, how are we feeling, man?
Doing good. Interesting slate we have because it's just impossible to know what teams are going to do at this point. So we can talk about it. Fortunately, maybe unfortunately, nothing happened so far on the Tuesday slate as we record here. Not to say anything won't happen on the Wednesday slate, but got to read the tea leaves going into a slate with teams that are likely selling, teams that have been linked to buying, and you got to assess your risk aversion, right? Golden State, who's still on Golden State, who's still on Utah, who's still on the Bulls going into this game. So when you get around these types of things, end of season DFS, who's playing, who's not, trade deadline, who's going to be traded, who's not, who's actually going to make trades. The Bulls have been trading players for 4 years, but they haven't traded anyone. So it's a very interesting time to be a DFS player, because it's kind of like an injury, right? If someone gets hurt and is done for the game, you're done. And that could be the same thing as a trade. It's much more fun that way than just watching somebody get hurt, but it also is not fun if you lose money. So just got to stay close to the news, because at least Thursday, when the dust settles and we go live, we will know.
Yeah.
Tomorrow when we go live, there's still 23 hours until the trade deadline is officially over. So it is definitely an interesting time, but we're going to do our best to give you, hopefully stays relevant by tomorrow's slate comes around.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously there's on this slate, Nikola Jokic is $12,800. You get Giannis up at 11.8. Wemby 10.8, K 10.5, and Maxey 10K. Those are your 10K and above players. Kate, as I mentioned, at 10.5, Maxey 10K, your top two price plays at point guard. We got Edwards, point guard, shooting guard eligibility at 98 against Chicago. Trae Young against San Antonio at $9,600. Scotty Barnes at 93. John Morant at 9K. Cade, obviously a matchup against Cleveland. We expect this maybe to be a tougher spot. Boston having no problem against Cleveland on the Tuesday slate here. Cade, another 50-plus fantasy point outing, this time against Atlanta. 30 and 14, back-to-back double-doubles for him. When it comes to sort of spending up at this position, I have to assume there'd be no Joel Embiid on the second leg of a back-to-back, so you'd have a solo Maxey here against Miami. Again, Edwards in a great spot. How would you go about this top half of the position?
Yeah, I think we kind of saw it and talked about it on the Tuesday slate. Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid played 36 minutes, triple-double. Tyrese Maxey was just unaffected by that. 22 shots, 33, 13, 4, and 2. And that's just the player that Tyrese Maxey is. He is going to score you 30 points. He is going to flirt with 10 assists on a night-to-night basis, and he chips in elsewhere. So I'm good with both guys over 10K. Wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland rests someone on a second leg of back-to-back. We saw it last week with them resting Darius Garland. Not going to specifically say that it's going to be Garland, but just wouldn't be surprising to see them rest someone on a back-to-back, especially if, where the time we're recording, if this game with, 10 minutes left, Donovan Mitchell doesn't sit and he plays 35 minutes, well, then we'll see what they do on the second leg. So Cade, tough spot, but it is Cleveland on the second leg of a back-to-back. Maxey, doesn't matter if it's a back-to-back or not. The guy has been incredible night in, night out. Anthony Edwards has an amazing spot. Nothing bad other than the missed shots the other night against the Kings. Yeah. The peripheral stats were all great. The shot attempts were great. The minutes, just simply missed shots. And on a 7 for 21, still scraped out 40 fantasy points, which was a miracle. But like Ant, Trae obviously has been really good in the 2 games since getting snubbed from the All-Star game, scoring at an elite clip. And I don't hate the spot against San Antonio. This is a fun game environment. Scotty Barnes, second leg of a back-to-back, it's fine. And then Ja was great. I mean, 29 minutes. We know there's no Desmond Bane. That's a tricky injury. Now, I will say the rest of Memphis is like off the injury report, or not off the injury report, but like
upgraded to
questionable, obvious trends in one specific direction. Not that that's going to affect Ja, but just don't give Taylor Jenkins any idea of playing more people, right? Him and Steve Kerr, they don't need that in their lives. They don't need 15 available players.
And they're getting good players back, right?
It's not
getting Marcus Smart, right? It's not shrubs. These are real rotational pieces for them.
So I love the price for Ja. No, Desmond Bane is great for Ja. And the matchup is great. So if you want to end up getting to Ja Morant, by all means, it's a good play.
You got Lillard here again. We're expecting after Milwaukee sat everybody that they'd be good to go. This is a groin for Lillard, so I guess we'll see. Questionable for this matchup against Charlotte. Tyler Hero, Steph Curry at $8,300. Then we have De'Aaron Fox making his San Antonio Spurs debut against Atlanta at $8,000. This is certainly a different situation for Fox than he was in Sacramento, but he's still playing with Victor Wembanyama here. But this price tag at 8K, could prove to be too low pretty quickly here.
Yeah, I mean, I like the 8K range. It is worth mentioning the Dame groin has popped in a few straight games. Like even prior to that game that he sat with the back-to-back, he was questionable, right? Like the game prior, he was downgraded to probable. Is that what it was?
Downgraded to probable. Woke up with the groin soreness and we're like,
and then played.
Yeah.
But then he sat the second leg. So like it's obviously real. Like you said, we'll see if he plays good spot. Hero, second leg against likely a Joel Embiid-less team, definitely fine. Curry in tournaments, although he looks, he looks like he's just on a working double shift and he's like, I need help. Like we need to hire someone else. And that's what they're trying to do, but they haven't hired anyone else yet. He has to work the day shift and the night shift right now. But you're right. The De'Aaron Fox price, he's not an 8K player, but how I almost find it impossible to believe he wouldn't start, right? But what do the minutes look like off rip? I guess that's my one question here. What does the De'Aaron Fox minutes look like right off the bat?
I assume he jumps right into that starting lineup and plays
just full minutes right off Jump Street.
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's not like he's hurt. It's basketball. There's not. We all thought D'Angelo Russell was going to be playing 15 minutes. He met the team in Brooklyn or whatever it was, and he played 28 right off the bat. It's basketball. They know how to play the game. I would imagine Fox just jumps in there and plays all the minutes. So $8,000 for him, certainly great. Then you have the Denver New Orleans game. CJ McCollum, 48 fantasy points, 30 actual. I mean, we called that one out, right? No DeJounte Murray. They're no Brandon Ingram. They're going to pick up the usage on that. 10 of 22, 35 minutes. Denver still can't play defense. They were in Denver, so it's not like it's a venue change here. They're just running it back after a couple of days in Mile High, So I'm fine going back to McCollum here.
Yeah, also the second highest scorer on his team in that game, by the way. We'll get to the other guy who just is on a run.
Another guy you and I were early on.
Yeah, for sure. I truthfully, you're not going to really hear me say anything bad about that game in general, because that game is super appealing. All of it, because those teams are very shorthanded. McCollum played 34 minutes. Jamal Murray right here above him played 35 minutes. Probably could have been extended a little bit more in the fourth quarter if they needed to, if they didn't feel as comfortable as they did. So I think both of those players are excellent. 79, 77.
Third highest game total on the slate, by the way, at 239.5. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I see the other two. We saw Garland sit for rest. We'll see what they do second leg of a back-to-back this time, but if he plays, he's fine. Same thing with Dyson Daniels, who continues to just be an absolute menace for everybody involved. I mean, absolute, just diabolical menace. He is just the worst person, has to be the worst person to play against in the NBA.
Great for our underdog basketball team that we have.
Great for underdog, terrible for the rest of the world, the NBA world. I like Josh Giddey. I like the price. He's having a pretty good start to his evening on the Tuesday slate thus far. Definitely live for a double-double, and we know he has triple-double pedigree if his teammates make shots. So I like the 7K tier quite a bit.
Yeah, good spot for them. You work your way down. I mean, you have Brooklyn versus Washington here. I mean, D'Angelo Russell, Jordan Poole, both of those players could be in really good spots at $6,600 and $6,500. Given the upside that they certainly bring to the table. What did we get for Emmanuel Quickly minutes on? Let's see. Quickly is at 21 with 8 minutes to go in this game. So I guess
seems like a pretty quick ramp. Yeah, it's a quick ramp up.
Yeah, so I guess we'll have to see what happens. He's not currently in the game, so say he gets a final 5 shift, maybe he gets 26 minutes. No RJ Barrett for a couple of games now there because he's gonna be missing.
And Pirtle got hurt.
So
too.
Maybe Quickly. This is one of the games to over 240 total in this game between Memphis Toronto. So something to watch for there. What else would you do here in this like value point guard range?
I think we probably get Keontae George back in the starting lineup. Colin Sexton's already been ruled out.
Yep.
So we saw Keontae George start the second half, and he played 30 minutes. He played really well. He had 40 fantasy points. So they're going to probably run the George Collier starting lineup. So I think immediately those would be the first 2 guys I look towards. Keontae George, Isaiah Collier. Collier was really good once again. You've kind of, said it a bunch of times. Like, he wasn't making shots, and now he's scoring double figures in every game, and the assists haven't fallen off anywhere. Like, he is clearly going to facilitate this way. So if we're going to get the scoring to come along with it, well, he's, a really nice, secure $5,200 play. I think Keontae obviously has the ceiling because they both had double doubles in this game.
Yeah.
But Collier has, like, at his price, definitely has the safer floor.
Yeah, the assist numbers are obviously much a higher ceiling for Collier, it seems like, at this point.
Yep.
Again, nothing to take away from Keontae George because, to your point, he had 11 assists in that game, but Collier also had double-digit assists. So you have that. We also did just get the official confirmation Joel Embiid will not play on the second leg of a back-to-back. He went out and played 36 minutes because Nick Nurse, he'll play around 30, I think is what he said, and then he played 36 because he's been healthy.
Yeah.
But anyways, not on the slate, so we'll take that in mind as we work our way through here. Other 5K plays here, you have Keon Johnson, Alvarado, Alonzo Ball, Conley. Anything down here pique your interest?
They didn't start Alvarado the other day, so that is a no. It's unfortunate, but 22 minutes, 5K. The price is going the wrong direction for a guy playing 22 minutes. Obviously, Jerome, if someone were to sit, Vasily Micic has actually been pretty good outside the game he got hurt in against Denver. He's questionable if he plays. Let's see what else. If Dame sits, Ryan Rollins would be back in our lives.
Yeah.
But I don't think. I guess there's the scenario where Quickly doesn't play. And then if he doesn't play.
We just play Bruce Brown.
Probably. I mean, they are. I thought they would play Davion. They have not played Davion. They played Jamal Shed as the backup.
Yeah, they started Jacoby Walter.
And they started Jacoby Walter. So, I don't really know what to make of that, but I guess if like Shed were to start or Jacoby Walter, which we'll get to, I don't think he's point guard eligible, but that's it.
Okay. Shooting guard. Get obviously Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Edwards, your top 2 guys up here. But Murphy is the one we wanted to highlight. Back-to-back 40 actual point games for Trey Murphy against Boston, and then in Denver, gets the in Denver spot again. Dude's just spinning a flamethrower right now, 8 of 12 from 3 in both of those games, over 20 shots. Zion's got his usage rate. We know what it is, but you take DeJounte Murray off the floor, it just kind of consolidates where that offense and that ball is going to go. They're going to need to start throwing more bodies at Trey Murphy, man.
I mean, dude, we had said it for like 2 months. Like, Trey Murphy is a 40% shooter from 3, and he just wasn't making threes, and he was still scoring. And now he's up to 38% from 3, and we've gotten 41, 40, and 32 actual points in 3 straight games. He is just absolutely, I think you just used the word flamethrower, and that's exactly what he is right now. So there's nothing that Denver is changing here. I guess Aaron Gordon being questionable could like be the one difference, but Aaron Gordon ain't chasing Trey Murphy around on the 3-point line. I'll tell you that. So he probably, the calf is going to give out. So fire him up again. And that game, as you mentioned, one of 3 with a bajillion points projected to score. He scored in it.
Kelly Oubre go back to a game now without Joel Embiid, which was sort of the signifier of things we were looking for. Probably no shock to anybody. He played 41 minutes in this game. He and Maxey both cracked 40 minutes. Did not leave the floor basically against Dallas, but just 9 points and 6 rebounds, because when Joel Embiid is going for 29, 11, and 10, that will happen. Now that Embiid's off the floor, Paul George isn't going to play. You'll go back to the Oubre that could be flirting with double-doubles or scoring 20 points. So willing to pay the $6,800.
Right back to the well. But, if anyone played Oubre, try to tell you, like, there's just, if you're playing Embiid or anything other than Embiid and Maxey, I feel like you're making a mistake.
Yeah, you said that. You're like, when there's 60, 70% of the usage rate right here, good luck to anybody else. What's funny is that, like, Yabusele had a good game again.
He did. He did. He really did.
Sure did. So we'll get to that as well. Again, a lot of dual positional eligibility guys. D'Angelo Russell, got Kobe White with shooting guard, small forward eligibility.
I mean, what? Well, to be fair, the Bulls are playing 4 guards nightly. I don't think that's going to continue. If you're watching what Matas Pazulis is doing, I don't think the 4 guard lineup is going to continue for very long. Also, Lonzo. Do we think Lonzo plays a back-to-back? We'll see about that too. So, I like Kobe. I think 6,500 against Minnesota is a little too pricey for me, though.
Sure. Devin Vassell, we've talked a lot about him this year, liking 6,200, but I don't think we can touch that with De'Aaron Fox until we see how he plays in that rotation. I don't know if you agree or disagree.
I agree.
With that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'd rather play the couple names below him. Exactly.
Yeah, Jordan Clarkson was great. If you tuned into the SiriusXM Fantasy Show, I gave you Jordan Clarkson over 1.5 3-pointers. He checked in and knocked them both down under in a minute. He basically back-to-back possessions. Jordan Clarkson threes. It was fantastic. So we catched that one nice and early. 4 straight games with 8 3-point attempts for Jordan Clarkson, and he's making them 3 and 4 in each of those. He is also a very live trade candidate. Someone that we thought would be moved off of Utah for years now. Maybe the Sexton injury keeps them in Utah, but they have plenty of guards. They certainly don't need Jordan Clarkson here, so we'll see what happens. But do you like Clarkson at $5,600?
Yes, quite a bit. He is a really high ceiling player, and to see him in his 4th game back up to 35 minutes just goes to show you, like, guy's good. He's just healthy. The foot issue seems to be a thing of the past. And possibly his last game for the Utah Jazz, right? Go out with a bang.
Anything is possible there.
We thought about, again, like you said, we thought that for the last 4 years.
Koulibaly, the reports this afternoon were that there were intense trade.
Is this the Kuzma Bucks thing?
With Kuzma, Middleton, and then some Valanciunas, Nurkic, Phoenix tie-in swap.
Yeah.
But obviously, Koulibaly coming off back-to-back really big games.
Yep.
If you were to remove Kyle Kuzma from this equation, things would be even better, as we saw earlier this season when Koulibaly was, basically him and Jordan Poole running the 2-man show there. So definitely like what Koulibaly can bring to the table here in this matchup against Brooklyn. And then Christian Brown, right below them, guy played 41 minutes. Not his biggest output, but if you're going to be able to put 4 for 41 minutes against New Orleans, probably have a better shot at being productive here.
Yeah, he just missed shots.
Yeah.
He just simply missed shots.
And Michael Porter Jr. hit all of his. So
he did. He really did.
He hit all of his shots. So good tier. Good tier there. Clarkson, Koulibaly, and
very
Brown. Ken Castle, a little tough to get to.
Probably goes back to the bench. Probably back to the bench.
Malik Beasley keeps on hitting his threes. Keeps on being good. Gets Cleveland, though. A tough spot, but we'll see. $5,300 for him. Nick Smith Jr. made a bunch of shots the other day. 39 minutes for him. Back-to-back good games. No Okogie anymore. Do we buy? Are you buying back into some Nick Smith Jr. shares?
I don't love the 5K price, but you can. I don't love the price, but you can. That's my.
It's a shot maker show, dude. Right? Guy makes the shots.
But guy makes the shots and he's in play. Sure.
You were in on Zaire Williams. He's 49. Probably a good spot to run back to.
Well, especially after just completely crapping the bed.
Yeah. Chalk Zaire's never good chalk, but he was there for us. Rozier also chalk. Didn't nothing. Just they did check it back into the game at least for you, but just tough day all around. Any other value, I guess, at shooting guard? Do you do Kennard, 43?
He didn't play a lot the other day.
Guy probably making this guy. Right? He misses his shots. He just gets phased out.
I think the problem is now, if you were to suggest any Memphis not named Morant or Jackson to me, I'm going to just tell you no, because they're getting everyone back. Like, I know, I get it, but I just
He could lose minutes of Vince Williams in the
predict
same
the
game.
next GG.
Smart, yeah.
Smart. I mean, there's GG Jackson scored 25 points the other day. Like, it's just going to be a random wheel of who knows for the rest of the year.
Grady Dick 42 could be continue to be a solid play as long as he stays out of foul trouble there.
And possibly like, I mean, there is a real possibility Quickly doesn't play either. So
anybody else for you down here?
Schroeder played good minutes off the bench. My obligatory Julian Schroeder dropped 39.
It mattered.
Didn't start.
Back in 24 minutes.
Didn't start, but if there is no Aaron Gordon, he's the first guy off the bench. They started Zeke Naji, so if Naji starts again, Schroeder's going to play the primary bench role. I guess if Jacoby
just to kind of give a quick update here, I thought maybe Quickly would sub back in. He has not. He is done at 21 minutes. And this is a 116-113 game, so it's not as if like the game's out of reach and they're just not playing him. They're just not playing him more than 21 minutes. So,
do you think that has specific to do with Jamal Shed going?
I think it could be
taking the Knicks out to the woodshed.
Next minutes ramp up is 21. It could be front leg of a back-to-back, and they plan on playing him in this game as well. Yeah. But
sure.
Yeah, would have thought if he was going, if he was good, he would have played more than that. So,
right.
Small forward. Scotty Barnes is here, 93. Murphy, we've talked about. Oubre. What's your play? Wiggins here? Laurie, 7K and 68.
Wiggins is definitely live.
Almost traded for Butler.
He is almost traded for Butler. He seems the most likely based on his contract to be traded. My play here is Michael Porter. That would be my first guy. And I'm not chasing either. I said it to you the other day when we were talking about this situation. They are shorthanded. And guys that usually would play over Michael Porter are not there. Russell Westbrook or Peyton Watson are not there. So Michael Porter has now played 40 minutes in back-to-back games. And if there's no Aaron Gordon, he's going to play 40 minutes again. And I think he's going to play 40 minutes whether Aaron Gordon plays or not, because clearly there's some type of limitation with Aaron Gordon right now. And so I think Michael Porter is the first one I'd get to here. I think that's cut and dry, like my favorite small forward that we haven't talked about yet, and possibly just blanket statement, my favorite.
Zach Lowe just tweeted that he's hearing a lot of eyes and ears around the Kevin Durant situation right
now. I mean, Zach Lowe is really a very, very, very reliable source for sure. But like that doesn't feel any different, I guess, than what it was like the earlier today, right? Because like there's Golden State. The reports today was like Golden State's doing whatever they can, and then the reports like Houston and Dallas have decided they want to go all in, and it's like, okay, it's another like who wouldn't want to be in the Kevin Durant business if he's available? You're gonna get like an elite scorer for 2 years, and you don't have to worry about like much, right? You just maybe he wants to trade after.
Oh, he definitely will want out after the year, but
I mean, he just like, get me out of here. I just was trying to help. I was a ringer.
To his own credit, he's very self-aware about that. They asked him, I think it was someone had like a Derrick Rose, I think it was, or something like that. They had like a statue built, or somebody had a statue built. He's like, yeah, like I'm never gonna have my jersey retired. Like I'm just here to play, right? Like I go to too many teams, right? Like he knows exactly what he is. So
yeah, you're right. Like that's a good perspective to have. It's not a bad perspective at all. It is just like he is a ringer, right? Like he's being brought in to assassinate the other team for a year and a half and then like retire probably. So it is like I like hearing from like the Zach Lowe's of the world, because you're like really like, okay,
because he's talking to people, right? Like like he's
yes.
We might midnight tonight, we might get the Kevin Durant bomb like we got the Luka bomb,
Oh man, I'm staying up again. Damn it.
All right, so we have MPJ 100%, but dude, Jaden McDaniels, like
I know, so good again.
He's so good.
He's so good again.
Did he turn a corner? Like what happened? What's going on with Jaden McDaniels?
No DiVincenzo, no Randall. 40 minutes. Already an elite
Now,
defender can now score the
threes
basketball.
and hitting threes and
confidently shooting the basketball.
dangerous.
Yeah, I mean,
dangerous.
dude, he is very good at basketball.
Are you paying 65 for him on this matchup against Chicago?
One of those, like, I would, but I would just simply play Michael Porter. Like, I would probably more often than not get to Michael Porter in that range.
Could see DeAndre Hunter traded apparently. What was the team I said to you was interested in DeAndre Hunter? The Cavaliers. Could see Hunter moved. Rumors about $5,700 Atlanta.
If you're Cleveland, or you're Cleveland, right? You lose to Boston when both.
I don't know if you've seen what Donovan Mitchell has done and Darius Garland have done in the fourth.
Yes. They have had definite big fourths. If you are them and you lose this game, basically full strength, obviously no Okoro, Wade, they're good. Wade had a 24-point fourth quarter once upon a time. You just like, man, we need to get better. Let me get DeAndre. Like, this is what made it certain. Like, get me DeAndre Hunter. I need to get better. Wouldn't this loss be like that icing on the cake?
Yeah,
like,
I have our NBA Beach Writers tab open here, and a tweet that I just scrolled by was Max Strus fouls in the fourth quarter 3 points in the game 2. So
needs some extra help.
Maybe fill the Max Strus in there. Anyways, we know he's a bucket. By the way, 20 actual points and then 0, 0, 0, 0 for DeAndre Hunter. So that's that happens with him, folks. Dosuma power forward eligibility as a point guard. $700 for Io. Good for him.
Small forward, power forward is absolutely
Cool. Belly Brown, we talked about already. What did Osler do the other day? 25 minutes. He's been a little bit better of late. Anything? Ricochet. 4,500 still.
Good,
not moving the price.
Boy, the minutes are just going to sit where they're going to sit, and the price is just going to sit where it's going to sit. Unless DeAndre Hunter's traded, then the minutes have another.
Or Atlanta's like, you know what? Maybe we play him more because he's been good.
Good. He's really good offensively, which I think that was the part of the game that like wasn't doubted. Yeah, the offense looked really good. Yeah.
I saw them linked to Brandon Ingram. I mean, everybody's linked to Brandon Ingram.
They've been linked, and I that's what I just didn't understand. Now, I think Trey, Brandon Ingram, Jalen Johnson would be really fun, but I thought that about DeJounte, and that obviously didn't work out.
Well, 2 point guards, right? Trey and DeJounte kind of clash. Ingram's a wing.
He's a wing, but he is definitely a very ball heavy wing where he can dominate the ball. Either way. That's not gonna. We don't need to necessarily wear it. Ingram's not gonna go off the injury report for tomorrow.
We'll talk about that when the trade deadline comes and goes if it happens. So, but Ricochet, dude, really, really good. I'm gonna be very interested to see what his point prop was. Kudos to you. You were all over the Bazulis point prop, and you're right up today. It was 9.5. He cleared that in 4.5 minutes, I think it was. Ricochet's point prop's been sitting around like 11.5, 12.5, and obviously he's gone over that in 3 straight games. So I'm curious if they just kind of if the algorithms keep it there because he's not playing 30 minutes or what, but. I definitely like this spot for him at the price. Yeah.
No reason to think the minutes at least go down. They should remain where they are and or go up.
And then we have the Philly guys. Again, Council and Edwards with Joel Embiid out. You move Yabusele back to center. I guess we'll see if Quentin Grimes is available for them. He was already in the building when he got traded. So maybe there's a chance he's available, but they were without Eric Gordon in that game too, so Grimes could have easily just filled Gordon's role, and Lowry, right?
And Lowry.
So how do you feel about?
And did you see the report about
no
KJ Martin? Nope. Why he didn't suit up? He is in quote trade pending. So they are also going to deal another player. KJ Martin is apparently tied into a different trade somewhere. So. What that trade isn't public knowledge at this point, but I'm assuming there's just a massive trade because all these players are linked to these trades that like are linked to other pieces. So who the hell knows like how big this trade, if it's even the same one. But KJ Martin's also was out today for trade pending. So They could just be really shorthanded, and then you have like you said, Edwards and Council. I would just, if that is the team like where we get really shorthanded Philly, we know what we're doing here. We're playing Council
and Max,
despite the other
48
and Maxi for sure. But we're playing 48 minutes for sure. But we're playing Council even though we know Edwards is going to start, right? Like Edwards is going to start, and Edwards was fine, 16, 2-2. Council played 20 minutes off the bench tonight. So it just goes to show you, like, no Embiid, we're going to get back to those, like, secondary options, and Ricky Council is a great value if everyone's out.
Power forward. Giannis is 11-8 for Charlotte. Obviously would be just an elite play. Bridges is $9,200. He continues to be awesome. Zion's down to 84. Did not have the best of performances against Denver. 28 minutes, got the minutes, didn't have as many shots as usual. The peripheral numbers are kind of in line what we get. It just the scoring was way down. Do you think, and I'm not saying this to make fun of him, do you think that conditioning is a problem for Zion in Denver?
No, but I mean, it's worth, I guess, if he puts up another egg, then maybe. But I think the 28 minutes back-to-back games is obviously a good sign. Like, good coming off an illness too, right? He was ill, and then he was able to play 20 minutes in Denver. So I do think that's worth. We saw a couple players struggle with illnesses. Anthony Edwards came off an illness; he didn't make shots. We saw Zion come off an illness; he didn't make shots. So my guess would be it's the illness more than it is the conditioning. Because also, I think Zion looks great. Like,
it's not even like a weight thing. It's just that you guys get tired in Denver, right? And if you're just working your way back a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, again, this tier itself is all pretty legit from Giannis down to Bam, honestly, that 8K and above range.
Yeah, I don't think there's a wrong answer. Giannis, if he plays, is great. I did not expect Miles Bridges to triple-double, truthfully.
The rebounding's nice.
Like, you had specifically like been like, yeah, I mean, this is like a good play. It's not a bad play. And it wasn't, obviously.
He didn't hit his shots.
I didn't hit his shots. I would have a hard time believing that he would triple double again in this spot, but obviously he does kind of just have the team to himself, Mark Williams, and everybody else. So, I can't fault you if you wanted to get to Bridges. 84 for Zion is great. Dude, Triple J is just continuously, man, he's just so good at basketball. 51 fantasy points, 31 minutes. It's just criminal how good he has been and can be in like limited runs.
He doesn't lose out, and this matchup for him. If there's no Pearl now, like it's Jared Jackson versus Kelly Olynyk and Chris Boucher, or something like that. I mean,
yeah, if Boucher plays, it could be like Orlando Robinson. It could be like a mixture of all these not good players that he's going up against. So, I love Triple J. I'd go right back to the Bam for what it's worth. He has not looked very good on the.
Ton of points being scored in this game,
but ton of points being scored. They're not being scored by him. I'll tell you that. They are definitely being scored by 10 for 10 Matas Pazulis that we'll get to in a few seconds here at Power Forward. But yeah, I would go back to the when you factor in Yabusele and possibly Drummond as your front court, right? Because like Drummond is questionable on the Tuesday slate, so it's possible he plays Wednesday.
And there's still 5 minutes left in that game too, by the way. Like, man could get hot.
And there's still, I mean, he also is a few rebounds shy of a double-double, and then you're just talking about, a different tier of output. Back-to-back baskets for Bam as we say that.
He does. I was at the 19 actual.
End one. So we're
take it back. He's been fantastic, and he's a great play at $8,000. So when you guys watch this and see him with 50 fantasy points, we never doubted him. Not once.
We never once doubted him.
Nikola Jovic, by the way, 31 minutes and counting in that game. So. Hell yeah. John Collins, $6,700 could be traded or could give you 40 fantasy points. You decide.
It's fair assessment.
Could be traded to Golden State. Nobody knows. He's linked to everybody again.
He is like another guy that's just linked everywhere, but he's too cheap. I mean, he's too cheap for 30 plus minutes. Yeah. Possibly no Markkanen, no Sexton confirmed.
18 shots. Double.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
a really good fantasy player. You mentioned MPJ. Nas Reed's fingers fine. 30
fingers
40 actual minutes. 40 actual minutes. 12 of 19
Fingers
from the
seems
4,
fine,
5
yeah.
9 from 3, 47 fantasy points. 6,300 versus Chicago. I mean,
going to start,
yep,
and his fingers fine.
Yep, fingers
so
good. Fingers good. Good price. Fingers good. Again, Yabu probably good. Can't even argue the matchups anymore. He just seemingly is a good player. If you wanted to go there.
Oh my God.
Oh, I was just saying
Not
what
a trade,
happened.
but the way the Houston Rockets just lost to the Brooklyn Nets.
That's the second time they've lost to Brooklyn in 3 games.
In this week, yeah, this week they've lost.
Here we go. 3 seconds ago.
They should be thrown in jail.
Nikola Vucevic is preparing to stay with the Bulls. Now the Golden State Warriors are focused on Kevin Durant, of the writer of the Chicago, Casey Johnson, the Chicago Tribune. So Chicago not blowing it up, trading Levine to acquire Kevin Huerter and then keeping everybody. Is that what we're? Is that what?
Well, they're trying to trade them
now because Kevin Durant is. Until Kevin Durant gets traded, nobody wants the Chicago Bulls players. So.
Dude, they just did a press conference with Billy Donovan, and he literally was like, well, we can all see what the direction of the franchise is. And now we're just keeping these – like, I just don't get it. This AK, Arturis, I'm not even going to try to say his last name, is an abomination for keeping this roster together. He is an abomination.
He traded Levine.
It is – yeah, and got his own pick back. I don't know if you saw the details about it. They would have gotten it back just by sucking the rest of the year. So he traded for it despite they would have gotten it back if they just sucked enough. That's what we're getting for Zach LaVine. But, like, again, this has been the return. I said it. DeRozan, Caruso, LaVine was Josh Giddey and Kevin Huerter.
Hey, don't doubt Kevin Huerter. A guy can go out there and shoot the lights out. Part of your 5-guard rotation.
Yeah, for another team. When they trade him, because that's already.
Yeah, those of you maybe new to the program. Grande is a Bulls fan, so
it's just a abysmal franchise, and they deserve everything bad that's coming to them this
year. Anyhow,
Kevin Durant's going to go to Houston. They just blew a second game in Brooklyn. They're going to trade everybody. They're like, we can't beat anybody if we're losing to Brooklyn. Udoka's going to go to the front office and trade everybody. Sorry, I'm fired up.
What do you trade for Durant? Whitmore, Jabari? You think you give up Eason? Because
I think that if you're offering for Kevin Durant, there's basically anything.
Well, I think they said earlier this year. Remember that tweet was like Tyree Eason, Alvin Thompson not on the block.
Yeah, I would wonder if that. I guess
for Kevin Durant, anything is open. Like you said.
For Kevin Durant and where they are, like where they are in the standings plus Kevin Durant, I'd assume that would change. Like they're in second.
They're good at 24 points and 20 boards. So like they're definitely like a big piece away, I guess. So
they're third in the West. 1.5 now, like ahead of and they've lost 3 in a row. My assumption would Phoenix would be start with Amen Thompson available? That would be where they would start.
And then they just work their way down the list. Is Jalen Green available? Okay.
Well, dude, I think that's legit and like you're getting, like, if you're Houston, like you're getting Kevin Durant in a and that means you're going for it. So I think like
will you move Jalen Green for Kevin Durant and then move Cam Whitmore into the starting lineup?
I would definitely move Jalen Green for Kevin Durant. And then you have multiple options you could probably. I would 100%.
It would take a lot. I mean, it's going to take more than just Jalen Green, anyways. But if you're talking like Eason, Whitmore, a few firsts, like you need more things. But if you add Jalen Green, it reduces what needs to go back in that.
Yeah, it's not. You're giving away a guy that's going to go there and score 30 points a game with him and Booker.
That lineup flashes like hell. But
and that's fun. That's a fun lineup. Yeah, you know what? It's not going to be that.
Yeah, I think it's got to be. I think Jabari has to be in that deal.
If Houston's approaching anybody, the first question is going to be Alvin Thompson. It has to be. If you're in a franchise looking to sell, it has to start with Alvin Thompson.
All right. Sorry for the delay, everybody. We were just, we get excited. We talk through things. As I mentioned.
And Matt,
as I talked about. Another big day with minutes. Still on the floor. We got 3 minutes to go in this game. Still out there. He's up to 32 minutes and counting, 18 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. The Chicago Bulls are evaluating the trade landscape for Kobe White, according to Jake Howley Hoops.
I'm going to freak out. Just trade them all while they're playing. Just agree to all the terms and then trade them.
Sorry for the continued distraction here. My phone is blowing up because I have all the push notifications turned on.
You have all the notices on? You have all the notices on.
All right, Jovic is obviously elite, but you wanted to talk about Matas. Well-deserving, $4,000. Starting to play more, 26 minutes in back-to-back games, and you were like, we should probably consider him for the Tuesday DFS slate. Currently, Matas is 10 for 10 from the floor, 24 actual, 2 blocks, 3 rebounds, 31 minutes for the Chicago Bulls.
I don't know if 10 for 10 is good, but if you did that
Probably
every game, it's probably a record.
Yeah, over 30 minutes, as you said, continues to climb. Maybe at some point they make a trade to open up some more room. But either way, it seems like they're full on Montes Bazzulla season here. So I guess your question is like, can he do it against Minnesota?
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly a tougher spot. But when you factor in the team that he did it against to begin with, like Miami's running double big, right? And in most of these scenarios, they're running a 4-guard lineup. Matas is the first sub.
Miami's running a triple. Bam, they got Bam, Ware, and Jovic on the floor.
Jovic, yeah, right. 6'9", small forward right now in Jovic. So like, there is legit like minutes against really good basketball players happening for Matas Bazzulis, and Matas Bazzulis has answered obviously every bell. It went from like the ramp to the minutes happened really fast. And I'm sad that I didn't get there before everyone's going to get there because I suspect he's pretty popular after seeing 31 minutes. Plus, we don't know who's going to actually be on the team by this time this game rolls around. But if Lonzo sits on a back-to-back, John, Bazzulis is going to be likely starting. Maybe you start Patrick Williams. But if the less members of their rotation, we're going to get, endless amounts of Bazzulis here. So I am in at $4,000. If we're gonna get 30 plus minutes and anywhere close to that, forget it. I mean, that's an elite number.
Any other power forward values? I mean, again, you mentioned we can't really touch Memphis with the way their rotation is, even with GG having the game he did. There's the Philly guys that are here. Anyone we haven't talked about?
I don't think so. Obviously, we have to see what's available for Milwaukee. Portis is available for what that's worth. If Giannis were to sit, Portis is going to be probable. So we just would play Portis. That would probably be the only person I would name. I would name.
$12,800 for Nikola Jokic. You've been begging for him to get to be $13,000. We are finally quickly approaching that. 83 and 70 fantasy points the last 2 games. 70 in this very spot. Triple-doubled against New Orleans. Nothing has changed about this matchup. But now he is $500 more expensive. At what point do you stop playing Nikola Jokic? Okay.
Never. I told you. He's not 13K. And like, I'm not saying you have to, but he is on a shorthanded team. Likely could be more shorthanded than just like it was the other day without Aaron Gordon. Wasn't even really all that aggressive offensively and went for 70. I mean, if there's 40-minute upside in really close games. There's 40-point triple-double upside every time he steps on the floor. It just kind of is what it is. If no one wants to play him at 12.8, I'm going to play him at 12.8. I'm going to be
very curious what the ownership will look like.
It is true because this is significantly
He's
more.
$1,000 more than Giannis, who has the dual position eligibility. $2,000 more expensive than Victor Wembanyama as his matchup against Atlanta, which feels like it should be a big Wemby game.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I mean,
it's a good one.
Rebounds are already. I mean, the numbers are. I don't know what he's missing. I guess like the assists from being like Jokic.
No.
Right? Like it's just a triple double upside. That's really.
Yeah.
Because he gave you 30, 14, and 6 blocks and only got 64 fantasy points. Right? Like.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, like, there's a reason why there's a discrepancy, and it's not like Wemby's fault. But I mean, Jokic is literally flirting 30, 15, 10 every game. Like, what? There's nothing anyone can do about it. And he's averaging 2.5 steals and blocks.
The other Frenchman on the slate, Rudy Gobert. He's
He
up
has
to
been
$6,800.
so good.
Remember when
So
we
good.
were like screaming about playing Gobert? What was it, like 52 or something like that?
54.
Yeah, against like
52,
Washington,
54,
wasn't it, or something
yeah.
like that? Where he doesn't have to 5,200 versus Washington.
Mhm.
Like, he just has to like breathe on a basketball to hit the five. Well, now he's up to $6,800 because there's no Randall, so they're just playing all the minutes here. I kind of wanna. I get the price is a little sticker shocky, but 42.50, 47.
At least he's shooting. At least he's like shooting more than he was. It's not a coincidence that
He's
Randall
never been
goes
a
out
high
and he's
shot volume
more.
guy, so like.
No, but when there's Julius Randle and Edwards, like
and
you
he's
just
all
don't have the
high
ability
value
to touch the ball.
shots, right? What was it? DeAndre Jordan
Yes.
set the NBA record one year in like field goal percentage because there's like just dunks, right? Like
Yeah.
Gobert is catching the ball a foot from the rim and scoring. That's just what that's how he
and then just getting offensive rebounds.
So I like it. Yeah, I like it. Jared Allen had a humongous night against Boston, almost 2020.
He did. He did.
And Walker Kessler is trade rumors about, but he's there at 67 as well. Jalen Duren's baseball. Jalen Duren's a basketball player. Another good game for him against Atlanta, 29 minutes. So you keep calling it out.
Yep.
They're just not going to play more than 30 minutes in a game. They're just going to. It's just what it is.
Yep. Yeah, the minutes are just what they are, and they just seem comfortable with
Kelly Ware doubled tonight. $6,200 for him.
He's good. What does Washington do? Is it just Rashawn Holmes? Because I have a hard time believing Valanciunas plays in this game. If they have a trade lined up, I find it nearly I just don't believe he plays. How could he play? If he's involved in a trade that they already have the framework for, how can he play?
Nobody played him though on that chart. He was 14%, I think.
Yeah, he was low owned. Yeah.
I mean, 30 and 29 minutes is huge. If he is starting,
yes,
you kind of have to play him, or put him in your player pool at 6K.
Yes, agreed. I'm just definitely worried.
Okay.
I'm definitely worried about it.
Yabu's definitely good at 6K as well. Claxton on the other side of that matchup, super safe. And as we've talked a lot, Washington is just an elite spot for posting centers. So 5,100 good there. Brooke Lopez and Portis, whoever plays, Furlough's in, good spot. Yep. Portis, another player linked to trades. What would you do after that, I guess?
I would, if Brandon Clark sits, sprint, not walk, to play Zach Edey. Because he looks back. He got hurt. He came back, didn't play well. And then
so you think Clark's absence enables the minutes?
Yes, I do. He didn't play. They are exclusively playing those two as centers. So we're getting basically center split, and then Jaren Jackson plays some small ball center stuff. So now that J Huff is basically gone from the rotation, that's just what they're doing. So I really, really, really have interest in.
Okay, super encouraging. I have a lot of Edey in best ball. He's been better, obviously, of late. The one dud game against Houston, not aside here. So if they're going to start playing him more minutes, could be useful. I guess. Are you worried about the other side? I guess of this matchup, if there's no Pirtle, is Kelly O's out here running around?
Oh yeah, we didn't talk Kelly O. Yeah, Kelly O is going to be
$3,300
if he's not traded.
If he's not traded. Olynyk in this game played 22 minutes, 11, 9, and 3. Mobo played 23 minutes. Agbaji played 23 minutes. They played a lot of a deep bench here. Orlando Brown only saw 6 though. So
Orlando Brown.
Oh, yeah, Bruce
Orlando
Brown was
Robinson?
above him in the box score. Orlando Robinson only saw 6 minutes there.
Pirtle has been dealing with a hip pointer and playing through the paint.
Playing pretty damn well.
What the report is. He has, and also I feel like a hip pointer would typically show up on the injury report, and I don't believe it's been. on the injury report. So
if Kaleo starts at $3,300,
that seems
a lot of the field would get there.
Chalky's play the
A lot of the field.
Chalky,
but can
Chalky's
Edie run around and guard Kaleo here? Like, or does this turn into like a Santi Aldama?
Yeah, I mean that would.
Like, what are we like?
Yeah, Triple J at the center. Yeah, that would for sure be a question. I have one more name to throw at you, John, and it's a weird one, but I'm gonna throw it at you. Okay, Carlo Matkovic. So looking at this rotation, right? Do we have Daniel Tice status? Do we know Daniel Tice? That's gonna be my Daniel Tice is. Why you gotta be questionable, bro? Just sit. Anyways, Matkovic obviously played 27 minutes. He closed both halves. First half over Javonte Green, who started, and then basically closed the fourth quarter. Well, not basically. He closed and was on the floor for either Zion, Javonte, or Misi, like in a straight. He just one of those players were out, and he was playing their minutes, and then he stayed on the floor. 27 minutes, 27 fantasy points, 3,400.
Yeah.
Just saying, like if there's no Daniel Tice, we clearly are just trying things out here. We already know there's already everybody on this team. They're just injured. So just throwing it out there as like another option as a punty play, especially if like Kelly Olynyk stuff doesn't come.
What about Rashawn Holmes?
That's another one. Like if they just keep Valanciunas out, then yeah, Rashawn Holmes has got to be in our minds because he's already playing.
So what's the quotes of Marvin Bagley up to these days here?
He is. I've never heard Marvin Bagley's name mentioned more than this week after Luka Doncic got traded, because the Kings and Vlade Divac decided to pick this guy
over
Luka. Yeah, I mean that was. But like I think Vlade put out like some like pretty harsh words.
Dude, Bagley was super good in college. He just immediately broke at the NBA level. Just couldn't stand.
He was super good in college.
Yeah, he was. All right.
He was.
Lineup time. Where do we want to? Okay, we'll go modest. We'll go Bazulis here. Get the value.
The you want to just go like double rookie modest Ricochet, just right off the hot off the presses, just start there. Yeah, I like the Nasri play too. MPJ, I love MPJ in the spot. I mean Denver in general is just super appealing.
7K basically, point guard utility.
I mean I like Collier, George, Giddey, Murray, McCollum, Clarkson.
7,500. So we can probably do Maxi gives us a 5,100 util. 5,100 util.
I love
he's so good just forever. Nick Smith, Zaire.
It's so fun playing Tyrese Maxey.
Guy there, I guess. It's such we're like probably like $100 off Collier there.
Yeah, we're 100 off Collier unless you played Clarkson or unless you played Collier over Clarkson. I think Collier probably has like the ceiling there, but
55 would give us Koulibaly, who we like or Brown,
or Brown, yeah, or
Koulibaly has the higher ceiling, I think, if there's no Kuzma. Maxi, Murphy, Ricochet, Bazulis, Reed, Collier, Porter, Koulibaly. Example lineup. Trades to be determined, everybody. Good luck with your research. Get in our Discord. Follow us over on the X Machine. Go to fantasyalarm.com/win to get your 7-day free trial started. And we will be back at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see you then.